to get the votes. We need congressmen and women elected, Republicans. We need to get the votes. You got to get out there. You got to win. Otherwise, we'll be playing around for too long. And Democrats are aggressively pushing late-term abortion, allowing children to be ripped from their mother's womb right up until the moment of birth. And then you have this governor in Virginia, you saw that. The baby is born, and you wrap the baby beautifully, and you talk to the mother about the possible execution of the baby. No, can't do that. So who heard of that one? And that came up, and that's now something, and they don't even want to discuss it. They don't even want to discuss it. And to protect innocent life, I called on Congress to immediately pass legislation prohibiting extreme late-term abortion. Democrats are now the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, witch hunts, and delusions. The Republican Party is the party for all Americans. We want to make America great again. That's what we're doing. I wish the cameras. Will you please show these people? I go home, you know, you hear it. You hear it. You can hear how many people, but they never show it. They don't want to do it. It's like a Florida State football game, isn't it, right? We are the party of the American worker, the American family, and we are the party of the American dream. Every day we're making very, very good on our motto. In fact, much better than we promised. And you know what it is? It's promises made, promises kept. We've actually given you more promises, and a couple of my opponents said this. They weren't happy about it, but we've given you more promises than we said we would do. That's very unusual for a politician. That may be a first. Earlier this year, I signed an executive order to defend free speech on college campuses. You see what's up. And we are carefully monitoring the actions of social media giants. Big tech must not censor conservative or other voices. We are also taking steps to address judicial overreach. Activist judges whose issue, that's right, you know about that, right? We did a big thing. And the Democrats hate that I did this, because you know who started this in reverse was Bill Clinton when he was president. Because activist judges who issue nationwide injunctions based on their personal beliefs undermine democracy and threaten the rule of law. Take a look at what we did for criminal justice reform. Nobody thought it could be done, and we passed it. And it's tough as hell, but it's also fair. It's fair. That's why we're appointing judges who will interpret the Constitution as written. And we just confirmed, listen to this, our 100th federal judge. And we'll soon be in record territory, not to mention 2 great Supreme Court judges. We've got 2 great Supreme Court justices. What a difference. And having them up there makes you feel good about your country, doesn't it? Makes you feel good about your country. We've launched a historic initiative to reduce the price of prescription drugs. We're doing big. Last year, prescription drug prices went down for the first time in nearly 51 years. Just today, we announced that the drug companies will now be required by law to include prices in television advertisements. First time. It's going to drive the price down. And we're vastly expanding affordable alternatives to Obamacare before we terminate it and replace it with something good once we take over the House, the Senate, the presidency together. And we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions, always. The Republican Party will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions, people with pre-existing conditions. And for the veterans, we passed VA choice, right? So now if they wait online for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 10 days, 4 days, 2 months, people that weren't even very sick or terminally ill before they get to see a doctor, they immediately go outside, find a good local doctor, get themselves fixed up, and we pay the bill. And it's a great thing for our veterans. They've been trying to get it passed for 44 years. We got it passed. And we also passed, 46 years they've been trying, VA accountability. Because under the VA, you couldn't fire anybody. If they were terrible to our great vets, they could be sadistic, they could steal, they could rob, they could do anything. We had no way of firing these people. Now we passed VA accountability. They don't treat our vets right. Boom, you're fired. 46 years they tried to get that. A little hard working. I mean, in that case, it was against the unions and against civil service. Not too easy. We're unlocking American energy. The United States is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. One. We're slashing permitting delays for vital infrastructure projects. We had highways that would take 21 and 22 years to get approved. We brought it way down. We're trying to make it 1 year. We're close to getting that. We're down to 2 or 3 at the most. This was taking 21. There was a certain road in a certain state. They were working on it for 21 years. It cost hundreds of times more money. It used to be a straight line. Now it's a line like this. If you had a couple of drinks, you had a very bad shot of making it home. Cost a fortune. 21 years. Now we're trying to get it down to 1 year. And maybe it gets rejected for environmental reasons. That's okay. But you have people that worked on projects almost for their entire life. And then they go to a vote of some council and they lose 3-2. No, you may get rejected, but it's going to take a year, year and a half. But mostly you're not going to get rejected. It's going to be done in a really good way. So we're trying to get that permitting process down for roads, for highways, for bridges, for tunnels, for everything. There's no reason it should be taking 20 years. And as promised, we've directed more than $500 million to fix Lake Okeechobee's Herbert Hoover Dike. Everybody wanted that done. Your governor, both your governors, your last governor and your current governor wanted that done. So we have the Army Corps of Engineers. They're doing a fantastic job, and they're getting it done. It'll now be completed in 3 years, way ahead of schedule, years ahead of schedule. And I was out there 8 weeks ago, and it was incredible. And earlier this year, I signed legislation providing $100 million to fight the red tide that harms coastal regions, especially in Florida. The red tide. Doesn't look too inviting. I come down to Florida, they say, what the hell is that? It's a red tide. So we're going to get rid of it. And to keep America safe, we're rebuilding America's military might like never before, including $133 million for the Gulf Coast Test Range. You know what that is, Gulf? Anybody there? Anybody like practice shooting? Trust me, it's a good thing for you folks. You don't have to shoot. It's a good thing. $133 million. The military needs it so badly. And it's going to be very quickly completed. And many other enhancements in the great state of Florida to help our wonderful warriors who are doing such an incredible job. As an example, at Eglin Air Force Base. Eglin. Eglin. Great people. And we have made a decisive break from the failed foreign policy establishment that sacrificed our sovereignty, surrendered our jobs, and tied us down to endless foreign wars. I don't know if you saw, but about 8 weeks ago, we took 100% of the caliphate. It was supposed to take 2 years in Syria, ISIS. That doesn't mean that they're not going to go around. These people are stone cold crazy. And it doesn't mean they don't go around blowing up a store and blowing up something. They are just nuts. But we took 100%, and when I took over this helm, this great country, we were way behind. You had to see, I showed the map. It was all so much ISIS. And within a short period of time, we wiped it out. The caliphate, we have 100%. But still, it's a mental condition. These people are sick. They're crazy. They're crazy. So always keep your eyes open, be careful, and let law enforcement know when you see a kook. Let them know. Because we have the greatest law enforcement on earth. Let them know. In everything we do, we are now putting America first. For years, we lost in so many different ways. We were losing on trade. We were getting beaten by people and countries that had no chance. We were insisting that no NATO members, you had to see this, the NATO folks, they don't pay their fair share. They were supposed to pay. We were taking over and spending almost 100% of our money to protect the countries in NATO, which is Europe. And I said, that's not right. On top of that, the EU absolutely kills us on trade. It's all changing, folks. $100 billion extra was just given by those countries that's now pouring into NATO. Because they said you got to pay up. Your past presidents would go and meet them and wouldn't talk about it. Or they'd say, gee, whenever you get a chance, maybe you could pay up. You had to see. It was like a chart this way. Now it's a chart like a rocket ship the other way. They're paying up. $100 billion they paid. $100 billion with a B. Last month I announced that my administration is unsigning the UN Arms Trade Treaty, which is great for your Second Amendment. We love our Second Amendment. And we will never allow foreign bureaucrats to trample on that very precious Second Amendment and your rights under the Second Amendment. I also withdrew the United States from the horrible Iran nuclear deal. And unfortunately, just today, I felt compelled to authorize new sanctions on Iran's iron, steel, aluminum, and copper industries, because I hope to be able at some point, maybe it won't happen, possibly won't, to sit down and work out a fair deal. We're not looking to hurt anybody. We want a fair deal. We just don't want them to have nuclear weapons. That's all we want. I recognized Israel's capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And just 2 weeks ago, I announced that the United States would recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. That's a big deal. And as rockets rained down on Israel, we reaffirmed America's solidarity with the citizens of Israel in their fight against terror. They have done just a great job. It's a dangerous place. The Middle East is a dangerous place. We also recognize the legitimate government of Venezuela, and we forcefully condemn the socialist brutality of the Maduro regime. And our hearts are united with the people of Venezuela and many of their relatives who are here right now with us tonight, the people of Cuba and the people of Nicaragua in their struggle to be free. It'll all happen, folks. It'll all happen. Each of us in this great arena, sort of arena, it doesn't have a roof, but these are minor details. Problem is, if we had a roof, you could never hold this many people, so. We're all united by the same timeless values. We believe in the American Constitution, and we believe in the rule of law. We believe in strong borders, strong families, and a strong national defense. We believe in the dignity of work and in the sanctity of life. We believe in religious liberty, the right to free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms. We believe that mothers and fathers, not government regulators, know best how to raise our children and teach our great country's values. And we believe in the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." These are the traditions, customs, and principles that bind us together as neighbors, as citizens, as Americans. These are the values that unite people in the Panhandle. Panhandle. Oh, we love the Panhandle. You all love the Panhandle? I think so. You're incredible people. I tell you, you're incredible people. You're smart, you're loyal, you're unbelievable people. But all across the magnificent state of Florida and all over our country, you joined our movement because you rejected the failures and betrayals of past politicians. You stared down a corrupt system that enriched itself at your expense. The system is rigged. I used to say it. It's still rigged, but a lot less rigged. We're getting rid of a lot of the rigging rapidly, folks. You reclaimed your destiny, you defended your dignity, and you took back your country. You have always been loyal to this nation. Now you finally have a president who is loyal to you. Thank you. And every day between now and November 3rd, 2020, I think of that. November 3rd, 2020. Boy, it's close, huh? But every day we're going to keep on working, we're going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. Remember, I used to tell the story that your governor would come to see me, and you'd be winning so much in the state of Florida. Governor Ron, he'd say, "President, please, in the Oval Office, please, we're winning too much. We're not used to this, Mr. President. We're not used to this. For years and years, we've been losers. We've been losing, Mr. President. Now we're winning. We're winning so much. The people of Florida can't stand winning so much. Can you maybe pull it back a little bit, Mr. President?" And I said, "No, I can't, Ron. I'm sorry." He said, "I thought you'd say that. We're going to keep winning. We've never been winning like we're winning now. You've never had better numbers. You've never had, I think, more loyalty. You look at what's happening to this state, and you look at what's happening to this country, and we're proud again. We're proud again. With every last ounce of heart and hope and sweat and soul, we are going to make our stand. We are going to stand for liberty. We are going to stand for justice. We are going to stand for faith, family, and freedom. And we are going to stand for the sacred rights given to us by the hand of Almighty God. We are one united movement, one united people, and one United States of America. And together with the proud people of the Panhandle, the proud people of Florida, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Florida. Thank you very much.